So here's the thing, 80% of people don't keep their New Year's resolutions by February, which is only 4 weeks, so that's pretty dismal.
Probably guilty.
So what this video is about is that we want to talk about some simple things that you can do to create new habits in your life, actual habits that change your life, your health, and they're simple things that you can do both with your nutrition and your exercise and your movement of your body, and then ways you can build upon those habits as you move forward. I'm Jessica with Montana Family Pharmacies, and I'm here with Josh, who's a pharmacist at Stillwater Family Pharmacy. And yes, we're in a different place than normal. We're in the gym that I attend because we're going to be doing some demonstrations on some exercises and things, so we wanted to be in the setting.
Here we are.
For eating and nutrition, we have a couple of ideas for you and things that you can do in your life. So Josh, you want to talk about that?
Kind of one real simple but a highly effective change that you can make is changing your eating intervals, the time with which you eat during the day. So we suggest doing like a 12-hour eating interval. So that means if you have your first calorie of the day at 7:30, you'll have your last calorie of the day at 7:30 at night.
We have been doing some programs through the pharmacy that was teaching us about this, and the statistic was something like most Americans consume calories and food or even sugary drinks, something like that. Wasn't it 17 hours of the day? And when I heard that, I was like, no way. Like, there's just no way I do that. But then I started paying attention to it, and it was true that I was definitely going beyond the 12 hours a day. So I have tightened that up, and then it does help with not only like maintaining or losing weight or maintaining muscle mass and not gaining weight and stuff like that, but it also, I think, helps a little bit with sleep and cycles and stuff like that.
Well, it's so important for lots of different reasons. Your body needs time to rest and time to heal. Trying to metabolize food takes up a lot of energy and kind of robs our body of that. So one, we may be getting some calorie restriction by doing it because we're avoiding some of those late night stackings. But more importantly, we're giving our body the time that it needs to rest and to heal, all the way down on a cellular level. Since we're not wasting all that energy metabolizing, we're healing better, we are resting better, and so overall health is going to improve as well. So. Okay,
great. Josh has a really good testimonial for what it did for him for changing his habits.
Yeah, when I first heard about it and we first started working with this program, we were presented with a few different options, and he said, choose the one that's going to be simplest for you. So I thought same thing. Well, that's probably pretty close to what I already do. I probably don't eat much past 12 hours. Wrong. So within 2 months of changing my eating times, only major change that I made, I was able to lose 20 pounds. And I was really surprised at how effective it was and how fast I started to see the results.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So then that's something that you can do in January. You can start just making sure you can write down in a journal or something when you start eating and when you finish, and then just trying to change those habits and be conscious of it, and making sure that obviously you're also taking into consideration that you're not consuming calories through drinks. So you're not drinking Gatorades and Pops and stuff like that. It's not just eating food, it's also drinks. So then in February, you can take another step. After you've created a habit of making sure you can only consume calories 12 hours a day, you can take another step. And so what would be your suggestion for that, Josh?
So it's kind of a great build on. You start to get that momentum with the first, once you start seeing progress with your first change. I think that an important change going into February would be a real obvious one, which would be try to minimize your sugars. Make yourself more aware of the amount of sugar that you're taking in or that you're eating. So that would be your pop and your Gatorades, your chocolate, your desserts, your donuts, your cakes, obviously anything with sugar. We want to just try to make ourselves more aware and start scaling that back. I did read one thing that said try to avoid anything that has more than 8 grams of sugar in it per serving. So that's just kind of a good number to shoot for or to look at. I think making that change for February could have some big results on the scale as well, and just overall how you feel, even more importantly.
Right, yeah. Okay, perfect. So then for March, you can add on to that. What would be something that you could then, once you've created both those habits, what's a third thing that you can do starting in March?
So I'd say we take it one step further in March, and that's where we start looking at carbs. And in particular, I would say breads, pastas, and potatoes. breads, pastas, and potatoes are all converted to sugar and stored as fat in the body. So if we can minimize those, we can minimize a lot of excess calories, and making that simple change can be very effective as well. Again, not only in what we see in the mirror or what we see on the scale, but how we feel on a daily basis as well.
Great.
One thing too, on any of these changes that we're going to make, whether it be the 12-hour eating interval, the starting cutting back on sugars, or let's minimizing our carbs, don't feel like it's something that we have to do every day. You know, we don't put that pressure on yourself. I shoot for 5 days a week.
Then when it comes to exercise, that is another thing that's just super hard to create new habits in, especially if you have not been exercising for a really long time. For me personally, there was a period of time when I had young children and was working a lot that I just really didn't think that I had any time to work out. The time I did, I just couldn't seem like I could get motivated. You know, it was overwhelming to me to think about that I needed to do it 3 to 5 days a week. For me, that seemed like so much. Like, how am I ever going to fit in 3 to 5 days? Yes, that's great if you can do that, but honestly for me, I started out with 2 days a week, just 2, and I put it on the calendar. I still only actually probably consistently work out 2 days a week. I get in 3 and 4 sometimes, but it's on average it might be 3, but 2 for sure I get in without a doubt, but the 4 to 5 and stuff doesn't necessarily have to happen. And I think that that's good for people to know. You can still really change your body and your health just a few days a week. And also just making small changes in your life, like choosing to walk to your neighbors, or choosing to walk to the grocery store if you don't live too far, which is my case, instead of driving.
Park your car in the back of the parking lot at the grocery store.
Yeah, you know, use the stairs instead of the elevator when there's places that you could do that at. One of the things that we want to talk to you about is to make sure, like I said, to put when you want to exercise and move your body on your calendar and to actually do it. Treat it like a business appointment, treat it like a doctor's appointment, something like that you're dedicated to. If you have to reschedule it, actually reschedule it, like put it on your calendar again. That's what I do. I think that's a great way to hold yourself accountable. For some people, joining a gym is really motivating. For me, that was something I had to do. I tried to work out at home. I just was super challenging for me to get in the habit of it. I wasn't ever good about doing it consistently. I didn't push myself very hard. So I joined a gym to have that accountability and also the social aspect. I really enjoy the social aspect. But for some people, joining a gym is really overwhelming and intimidating, especially if you've been out of the fitness scene for a while, or if you are overweight and things like that. It can seem scary. But also something to remember is a lot of those people have been in the same place as you have, and that they'll understand. So if you don't have a gym in your town, or you're not comfortable joining one, there are a ton of things that you can do from home with very little equipment. Get yourself better in shape and in a better health situation. And we're going to actually do a little demonstrating on some of those things that you can do. They're called bodyweight exercises. There's lots of things like push-ups, sit-ups, squats, pistols, lunges, jump rope if you have a jump rope. There's some other things that involve a little bit of equipment that you can get really inexpensively that we'll show you as well. But overall, you can make a huge difference in your life and your fitness just from doing certain bodyweight workouts at home.
It's just important just to start, you know,
right.
Just to start somewhere, and then you can always build and go from there. And,
yeah.
And you don't have to, you know, jump straight into an elite fitness program. It can be something that's very basic and done just a few days a week in as little as even 15 minutes.
Yeah, or even if a few days a week seems overwhelming, just do it 1 day a week. Mm-hmm. 1 day a week for 4 weeks. Create the habit. Add a day. You know, it's changing habits. It's not necessarily that you can't get fit. It's just that you haven't had that habit happening in your life, and it takes time to implement it and do it. Stick with it. We are going to link in with this video a little download with some exercise or some sample exercises of bodyweight workouts that you can do from home. They'll be super simple and easy to follow. But one thing that we do recommend is that you make sure you warm up well first. So you should do like moving warm-ups as well, which are some of the similar movements. A lot of times can be similar movements to what you were doing before. Stretch a little bit, but like, you know, lunges are great to do warming up. Just do them a little slower than you would in a workout. Same with air squats. Getting that body moving in a way, not just stretching statically, but also dynamically, is really good for your body. And then obviously when you are working out, First, you need to consult your healthcare professional to make sure that they feel like you're healthy enough for some of that physical activity and that you're not going to be endangering your life in some way. We believe exercise and movement is good, but you should also, if you have a lot of diseases or health concerns, that you should probably be checking with your healthcare professional first and foremost. If you experience any serious pain or discomfort, you just need to stop immediately, talk to your doctor again, and make sure, or talk to a trainer or something like that to make sure you're doing the movements correctly and things to make sure you're not injuring yourself. So Josh and I are going to show you some of the body weight exercises. Also things you can do to what's called scale them if you can't do how it needs to be done, if you're not strong enough to be able to do the
full version.
The full version.
Or do a modified version.
Right, do a modified version. All right, so what do we want to start with?
Push-ups.
Okay.
We are here to pump you up.
All right, so with the push-up, you keep your body in plank. It's like straight. Then your arms, your hands are about shoulder width apart. And some people do them like elbows out. You're not really supposed to touch your chest to the floor. You're supposed to keep it above. And then you go down. All right, so then when I first started it, honestly, I've only recently been doing standard push-ups myself. They are a true body weight workout that can be quite challenging at times. So way you can scale that is to do what a lot of people call a girl push-up, but who cares? You put your knees on the ground instead of your toes, still keep your core engaged, and the same thing, go down, up. So if you are unable to do push-ups on your knees, which again, that's something that I wasn't able to do when I first started, you can do it on the wall. So the further you lean out, the harder it is. So if your muscles are, you haven't moved a lot recently, then you can be pretty straight up and down and just move back and forth. And then as you get stronger, move out further and like tilt your body more.
Another great exercise that we can do is called a burpee. A burpee is good for kind of a full body, or it's good to engage the full body. Also, you can get some cardio in it, so kind of multiple steps to show you what it looks like. So first you go down, hands on the ground, jump out into your push-up formation, hands flat on the ground, shoulder width apart, down into a push-up, up, feet in, and jump.
Okay.
I'll show you from the front view, down, back, push up, in, and jump.
So to scale it, instead of hopping out, you can walk out. And then again, you can put your knees down, put your chest all the way down to the ground, back up, and then walk up. Do try to jump at the end. Getting our bodies to do things like jumping is really good. But a pistol is a one-legged squat. Pistols are really good exercises for gaining strength and improving balance and coordination and things like that. The prescribed way, basically the way that they are if you have a lot of strength, is to just do one leg and you go all the way past parallel and back up. So again, one way you can scale this is if you have some strength and you're kind of strong but you need help balancing, is to get next to a bar in a hole, maybe a door jamb or something like that, to help you balance, and then you just slide up and down. These are exercise resistance bands. You can find these really inexpensively online. So you can scale this. You can scale pistols also with a band. So you put the band in and then you put it under you, and it helps you maintain your balance while you're going down and build strength in those legs and still do the movement. Because the thing is also what we're trying to do is increase movement in our bodies. We're made to be functional. We sit a lot in our society, and these are things that we are not very good at in general. If you look at a toddler, they're awesome at all of these things, but as we get older, we sit too much and need to do things like this. So these are ways that you can scale pistols.
Great exercise to help kind of engage your lower body, your quads, and your glutes is going to be the squat. So a couple important things with the squat. Feet shoulder width or just a little wider, shoulder width apart. Nice comfortable stance. And then just go down slow. Get your knees past parallel. Kind of your arms out for balance. And then you can come up nice and slow. Slow and in control is what we're looking for. As you get stronger and do more of it, you can gradually start to go a little bit deeper. But just go to what's comfortable to begin with. From the side, it looks like this. Slow and control, and up and slow.
So for a pull-up, a lot of people cannot do a strict pull-up from the beginning. If you haven't been working out, again, it took me months to be able to do it. So a way that you can scale a pull-up is to use one of these exercise bands. Again, you can get these really inexpensively online, and then you just have to experiment with what thickness of a band is best for you. You don't want it to be popping you up so you're not actually moving and using your muscles, but you also don't want it to be so hard that you can't even do the workout. So you wrap it around the bar and come through, and then pull it down and put your foot through it. Wrap your foot around so it doesn't pop you in the face. A functional pull-up is a kipping pull-up, and you use your shoulders to basically engage yourself, and you kind of do like an arch, and then you pull back and up. A lot of people, it takes a while to figure that out. There are YouTube videos online that show you how it breaks it down to really learn how to do it, or to learn how to do it from somebody else. But that's an introduction to it. You can also just do a strict pull-up. That is harder, actually, once you learn how to do a kipping. Then once you get good at, you scale these down, you do lighter and lighter bands. Eventually you get to a point where you can do a pull-up without any help, and basically that looks like this.
So there's a couple different setups that you can try. You can try the traditional setup, which we learned all in PE in middle school and high school, which is feet flat on the ground, hands on the shoulders, come down nice and slow, core engaged, come up nice and slow up to the knees. That's kind of your standard setup. If you want to modify that, you can come down and only come up part way. Or you can do hands on the ground and come up. Just a couple other different modifications of the standard setup. There's also the functional setup, which is more of a full body engagement. Feet together, pull in tight, arms come back over the head, and then engage as you come up. Engage your core and pull up. So again, feet together, come back, arms behind the head, engage the core, and pull up into the upright position. Another good exercise to help engage the core is called the plank. Elbows and forearms on the ground, hands together, up on your tippy toes, engaged core, nice flat back, and you can just sit here and count this as long as you can hold it. To modify, you can go down on your knees. As you get stronger and do more planks, there's lots that you can add to the plank. You can do a plank tap, where you're up on your hands in the plank form, and you come up and you tap your shoulders. You can take the plank into what's called a mountain climber, which is where you alternate coming up with your feet, pull up to your chest, and back, up and back. That's a great exercise to engage your core as well as give you a cardio workout. Next we'll show you is the tricep dip. This is something that can be performed very easily at home as well, either against like a dining room chair or on the back of, even on the couch as well. So purpose of the tricep dip, just to help engage more the back of the arm, shoulders and maybe upper back. So to get in position, you back straight, get your arms at shoulder width apart, and then just come down nice and slow, and then up slow. Engage your core. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way out.
Another really great workout that you can do at home is jumping rope. Jumping rope is cardio. It helps with moving your body up and down. It's just a really great workout. When you start out, you'll be doing single unders, which is basically one rotation of the rope under you. as you get better at that and more fit, it's a great thing to work on double unders. And double unders really are an excellent cardio workout. That means you rotate the rope twice under your feet for every one jump. It takes a ton of practice to do it. There are lots of tutorials online to learn how to do it. I luckily learned how to do it when I was a kid, so it's like riding a bike, and so I've been able to do it. This is the thing I was good at from the beginning of working out, again. But you can find jump ropes super inexpensively online as well, or in your local stores. It is a good idea to make sure the jump rope actually fits you, and the way that you do that is to size it so that the handles come up right about your shoulders when you have it under your feet. If it's too long or too short, it's going to be really hard to actually do good jump roping. So a single under you could do just hopping like this, or you can, some people do it like this. And then I don't know how to teach a double under. Like I said, I've known how to do it since I was little, but you can probably find tutorials online. But a double under looks like this.
Another great workout that you can do to engage your core and lower body is the lunge. From the side here, the lunge is just where you step forward, knees above the toes, come down, knee just above the ground, stand up slow, and come back. Then you'll alternate leg. Knees above your toe, and up. Forward, knees, up. To modify the lunge, you can go out and just not go down as far. Instead of coming down to your knees just above the floor, you'll just come down to the halfway point. Try and make sure that your core is engaged and your back is flat as you go forward. So again, forward, knees over toes, core is engaged, back is flat, and up. As you're doing lunges more and more, you can actually start adding weight to it. If you don't have weight at home, it can be something simple as a gallon of milk or an empty water, or fill up a water jug and put those in your hands.
So these are our tips and tricks for diet and nutrition for 2019 to help you get started on the right track and to change some of your habits. Obviously, this is kind of just an introduction for these exercises. You can find tons of tutorials online on YouTube and things for each of the movements we've shown you today. But we want to wish you a happy 2019 from Montana Family Pharmacies and all of our local pharmacies. And you can find your local pharmacy at montanafamilypharmacies.com.